Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sage Stevens, the host of Shout Out with Sage. Welcome to the show. And today I have a filmmaker all the way from Naples, Italy, joining us today. She was recently in LA where I caught the premiere of her film. And I would like to welcome Anna Laura De Lugo all the way from Italy. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Sage. Hi, nice to see you. And thank you so much for this amazing invitation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here. So yes, you were in LA and I caught your film, We Are Art.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, this film is like, it's a documentary about second chances. So it's like an audiovisual journey that uses the languages of visuals, of visual art and sound design. And it offers like a portrait of 4 young adults who have faced different challenges that they have overcame with strength and dignity. And so I wanted them in this kind of experience to strip themselves of preconception and of suffering, to become like creators of sublime beauty like their eyes. So all this documentary is focused on the eyes, because as we know, the eyes are the symbol of identity and of equality in unity, to demonstrate that the most important thing, that every human being is precious and special, and we all are a work of art.
Right, exactly. They say the eyes are a window to the soul. So in the film, you use a special camera to like go really close. Explain a little bit about the camera you used and how that worked.
Yes, I patented this special camera that enabled me, like I patented this camera more than 10 years ago. And this enabled me to catch the iris without reflections. So, and this is very important for me, because I think that blowing up this image that represents the identity of every human being, it means to put on the scene also people that are not considered part of our society. Unfortunately, we have a lot of minorities of people that, don't live in the center of our society. So my effort is to give a voice, as you say, shout out. It's like to give a voice to these people. So since I've been working with a lot of categories, like I've been working with the prisoners, with the blind, and I made an important show at the United Nations, and a documentary called Blind Vision, that is really a journey towards like normal vision. So going beyond what we think of seeing, and giving space to the world of the different of impaired people, so blind and visual impaired people. And so it's like a way to bring value to these people, to show that they don't live in the darkness, but they have so much light inside that is the strongest light that we can imagine. So this work is like entering in a dark room where all the eyes of 20 people that I've been meeting, and I shot the eyes, they light up and they exchange thoughts about their story and about their feelings. So this work was exposed at United Nations during the World Conference of Disability, and also at the Italian Consulate in New York, and in a couple of museums in Italy. So it's like, since I was like working with all these categories, then I work also for human rights for Kennedy Foundation in New York. So my greatest desire in all my artistic career is to lead to a social inclusion. And so this is the reason why also in this kind of work that I made, that is a piece of art, and the documentary is like narrating the creative process of how I created this piece of art. It's like always leading on the same thought of having a social inclusion.
Cool. Yes, you had, why don't you tell us a little bit about, you had four characters, correct?
Yes. This
a blind person, someone that's been in,
records with family
criminal
with
record. Yeah, he's had
Mhm.
some trouble in his life. Another one was an immigrant from where in Africa somewhere.
Yes, from Africa.
And then the blind woman, correct?
And then the blind, and then there was a
Right.
lady who had like a problem because she was bullied, and so she became alcohol addicted.
Yeah,
So
she had alcohol and drugs and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I mean, sometimes I think that also this last lady that I mentioned, she maybe is representing the majority of our young adults, because it's so common, you know, that sometimes our kids, our young adults, they feel scared, and so they think that they find the refuge in the drugs or in the alcohol. So, by the way, since I always I thought that in this time I wanted to compare their suffer with others, so with other various types of challenges, so that in this case they felt that maybe their own suffer became lighter by working together and by watching like the others. And so I can tell you that the blind girl, Noemi, she was the one who everybody was admiring, because she had such a strong life, and she has such a meaningful life, and she was so
she had a great attitude. She was very vivacious, and she was outgoing, and like you just
she was a great example for others. So I think that was the most important thing. Sometimes they ask me what happened to their lives. So I don't think that you can really change lives, because only God can change lives. But in a way, I think that this experience got them to have a bigger awareness of the beauty of the gift of life, and also to have a great opportunity to express their feelings and their point of view, because a lot of time nobody cares about their opinion. And so in my belief, I think that sometimes suffering can strengthen the personality of someone, and so become a sort of like a springboard for redemption, to become better persons. And so this is the reason why I wanted that the moment I asked them to strip themselves from the suffer was a way to show their spiritual change. And so in this moment, they were like really getting a new self-esteem and a new inner light. And they were becoming in that moment artworks, and they were becoming examples for others. And so the message was only one, that we are all magnificent God creators. And so it's like our path on earth is only like a preparation and a purification to access heaven. So this was the real meaning. So I want that this eye, as we say, that, you know, the eyes, as we said before, it's the mirror of the soul. This soul could come out and could shine in their body.
Why did you pick this? Have you always been interested in eyes and spirituality and this? How did all this come about for you?
Yes, I think they are strictly connected, because spirituality is the most important part of my life. So when at the beginning of the documentary I was climbing up barefoot on the mountain of Medjugorje, that is something that I always do. When I have a new challenge, I always ask for spiritual guidance, because I think that it's very important that my spirit is in harmony with my mind. So I think it was very important for me to do this path. And so I always pray God to be in his path. So this is the most important thing to me. So I think that also this project came out in a very special moment for all humanity, that has been the COVID time. So this moment where everybody of us felt a strong isolation, I thought that was a moment also to try to find a way to reconnect people. So my work of art, my piece of art is exactly that, because the reason why inside of the pupil is the special camera that captures the viewer and gets him or her inside the piece of art. It's a way to get like people interested in the other, so to create a real strong brotherhood, because you cannot ignore others' life. We have to live with holding our hands and trying to help each other. So it was a way to get the viewer not distracted on this kind of thing. So everything, all what I did of good, it comes from God. All what I did of bad comes from me.
I understand. With the casting for the film, how did you find these individuals? Because each one of them was very unique and they had a great story. So
yes, I really started a long time ago, and I was looking for somebody who had a great personality, who had to face problems, but also had to have a great personality and was really showing others to be an example. So was demonstrating to be able to show this inner light, because all the journey is led by my material that is aluminum, and this word comes from Latin. It's like ad lumen, a journey towards the light. So this was leading the whole process. So I wanted like people who could follow me or were already on their path to find this light. So I went around in foster family, in the Blind Institute, and I found a lot of young adults who were all of them so special, so unique. But at the end of the day, I chose these 4 because mainly they were representing 4 installations that I have already done in my life. So since I've been working with juvenile prisons, I thought that Pino was matching this kind of artistic research of mine, as Noemi was matching blind vision. And Larissa, I felt she was in a sort of a labyrinth, and I made this work of art inside the labyrinth. So I thought that could be the place where I could shut her eye. And Yusuf, since he was really in a big pain because he was like really hurt about his human rights were never respected. So I thought that the better place where to shoot him was in front of this installation that I made for Kennedy Foundation on human rights. But then I felt that inclusion is inclusion, so you cannot exclude anybody. So all of them were part of the construction of the piece of art, because I wanted all of them could leave their hands, traces on their hands inside this piece of art. So they were enabled to say we were part of it. And that was such a great moment when we started building this piece of art with aluminum, because it was amazing to see, like, for example, the lady with the Down syndrome was leading the blind, and then the blind was pushing the wheelchair, and then the other blind was helping the guy with the autism to talk, and then on the opposite side, somebody else was leading the others, to the blind, to use their hands. So it was a great experience. Everybody felt of being part of a family, part of a group. And so this aluminum was also shining in their eyes, because the other reason why I chose this material that is the symbol of environmental safeguard, it was also because it's so shiny, and it's also, there is a parallel with the eyes that, it has the same, frickling and lights that contain the eye. And if you saw in the documentary, I had also short hair, so you can see that were 2 different moments when I started doing my casting, and the moment where I found my young adults.
Right.
And it was very challenging, because we were like together for 6-7 hours. Obviously the editing was shorter. And a question somebody told me, how did you get really such interesting part of their lives? Because we were together for a long time, and I wanted them to feel comfortable to give all their feelings without any fear.
And I also read, so your cast was very diverse, but so was your crew. I know that I read about your crew being you had blind people working in your crew and wheelchair bound, and so why did you want to be so inclusive? Like, did you have any problems with that, or that was something that was pretty easy for you to do?
It was easy because it was not the first time for me. I've been working all my life with all the kind of categories. So all my friends are blind. I have a lot of friends that are blind. So I know how to lead them. I know how to guide them. I know how to talk to them, because it's like something that is part of my life.
Right.
So that was very, very easy for me. And so the reason why that I felt that this went very well, also because also during the time all of them they were super happy, and at the moment of the interviews, instead I thought it was incredible because they were able to pull out all their emotions. So 3 of them ended with crying. I didn't want that, because if so, the question that I gave them were not hard questions, but I think that for them was such an important moment, because they were there and they were showing themselves where anyone in life has been interested in them, in their what were they feeling. So it has been a really touching and great experience, especially for me.
You also composed the song for the movie, is that correct?
Yes, the story, what happened, inspired me this song. And so what I wrote, we are all special, we are unique. Highlight the value of every human being. So it's like these eyes is a way to get like in the center, the diversity. So the diversity is a plus, is something that it's important for others to understand, because only from the diverse people, there is a very huge enrichment for everybody.
Is there a way to listen to the song, or is it just within the film?
No, there is a way to listen to the song, but there are so much strict rules for the we are doing like this
The awards campaigns.
Yes, the awards campaign. So I don't know if we can show it before, get it out before or not, because sometimes for a mistake you're doing such a great effort, and then for a small mistake you're out. So we have a great publicist that is Jeff Sanderson, and also there is the Rick Markovich, there is Gary Springer, there's Allison Jackson. So they are leading this campaign, and so they know exactly what to do. So daily, instead, Greg Ferris, that is the marketing consultant, and Stanley Isaac, who is the creative consultant, the 3 of us every day are working to do this kind of miracle, trying to let it happen.
I understand all about the film festival circuit and the awards system. I used to work for Film Independent and IFP, so I'm very familiar with all that. Where will people be able to see the film eventually?
So first of all, maybe we have the film will come out in November, while we are screening it for the consideration in LA. So at that time, because we have some requests for distribution. Otherwise, if we're not able for November, for sure, for the end of the year, it will be ready to be distributed, and then on the streaming portals.
Platforms, right?
Yes.
And who are your shout outs? You've mentioned a few people already. Are there other people you would like to add, or anyone, or elaborate on how people have helped you?
Yes, as I tell you, first of all, Stanley, because it's like the person that really with me every day, and Greg Ferris. I mean, these 2 are my angels. So we work together. So it's like an official thank to them for their patience and how they are guiding me in this amazing process. Stanley has been with me with all the production time. So he came in Italy, and we shot together. So it's like he was supervising the production, and he was also great creative consultant. So it's like really, and then Greg was always there to lead the marketing, all the marketing campaign. And so it was really great to work together. And this is the second time we worked together, because we worked on Napoli Eden, my first documentary, and that was arrived in consideration at the 93rd Oscars.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Amazing. And where can people find you online?
Online, I think everywhere. On Google, there is a lot of stuff on me if they don't want to go on social media. Obviously, I have all the social media. I have an Instagram page with my name. I have also a website, obviously, with my name and IMDb. So it's very, very easy to find me and my contacts. I'm not a difficult person to catch.
Okay. And the documentary is called We Are Art.
We Are Art Through the Eyes of Anna Laura.
Right.
Because like it was, since I put the eyes in the center of my artistic research, this title was added by all the team because they thought it was very important to give a vision through my eyes. So what was my vision of the process? And so these eyes were always at the center of the scene. And so it was very important to add this part to show like the creative process.
Right. What were some of the obstacles that you experienced during the filming, either before or during or after?
Sometimes dealing with real problems of these young adults. So there were sometimes something very bad that was going on. So for them, like the mother of one of my young adults, she is still in prison. So some days for him was very hard because she got very nervous. So it was very hard because the problem were there. And otherwise, I think that there were nice problems because were challenges, because the reality was that all the documentary happened at the moment where we were shooting. So the creation of my piece of art and of all the VFX, effects, they were done there. So obviously there was a big fear to don't reach the point where everything was fine, everything was great. And this I was happy because sometimes if you see my face at the moment we were installing for the first time the piece of art was so, when I watched that face, I said, oh, it was so real. It was so true. My fear at the moment, I was really in panic that everything was going to go well. And in a few hours, all the people were arriving for this opening in the museum. So it was really a big challenge. But I think that everything went super well. The team was great. The VFX manager was great. The sound designer also. So everybody worked in an amazing way. And everybody had, like, also in the final interviews, they were also all very scared about my ideas to achieve what was in my mind. But finally we had fun, and it was a very relaxing set.
How did you, so when you do the edit, did you have the music and the sound design already in your mind, or does that come?
No, because it was designed.
Does all that work for you?
No, because that was designed with the heartbeats of the 4 young adults, and that was made on camera. So we really, and I started thinking about this song when we started shooting. So the time to do the song was so short, and the final song was done during the shooting and then finalized immediately after. So it was done the master record at the end. But it was challenging, and everything happened at that time. So I'm very happy to say that really this is a really documentary, because there was neither one time there was something staged, because the problem that was there, we discussed it in reality at the moment where we were there on camera.
Okay, so everything was organic, like it happened during the film.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What's the name of the song? I forget.
We Are Art.
Okay, so it's
it's exactly the same. Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have the distribution hopefully later this year. Are you doing any film festivals, or you're?
Yes. We are always, for all of them, we are waiting the results. So we applied, we made the submission for Sundance, for Tribeca, and all the critic film awards, and the PGA, DGA, IDA. So there are a lot of American festivals that before I didn't know the existence. So it was nice to submit, because it's always nice, because it's nice where you write about your thoughts, your ideas. And I have to tell you something that maybe can be interesting for you. I love the way of thinking of American people. There is a huge difference between Italians and American people, because in Italy, you're not allowed to do more than one thing. If you do more than one thing, it's like people look at you and say, why you want to do the director and you want to be the artist? Choose one, pick one. And instead, I saw that here there is such an opening mind. The more you do, the more they welcome you. So everybody here is a producer, director, actor, and whatever. And this is very nice. And also, I tell you the truth that I love the way of thinking of American people, because they give chances. So I think that the nice feeling of also doing this campaign is to think of being part of a challenge, being part of a competition. And it's very nice, because sometimes in Italy is not so open-minded. They try always to give space to those they know. They were there since a long time. So they are not so open-minded to new ideas. And instead, in USA, I always noticed with all the people I was talking to, I said, what a great idea. This is new. Tell me more about it. Instead, sometimes in Italy, they're like, what's that? I don't know that. So they find out to be like scared of new ideas. But in that way, nobody brings new ideas, new things on the table. They always do. So all the same kind of films and documentaries.
Right. So in Italy, you're saying that it's a little more confined. You need to sort of stay in your lane. Like if you're a director, you're a director.
Yes.
But here in America, you felt people were more open and
welcoming more like roles for the same person.
Okay. You didn't have to just stay in your lane and just. How did you end up being an artist? Have you always been an artist, or?
No, it's like there was something in me, because I find out some paintings that I did when I was a child, and I had this very, very strong creative attitude. But but I worked in the company of my family, both building and both marketing, for a lot of time. And then at a certain point, I really discovered that I had to do something, to bring out my contribution to this world. So obviously it's a small contribution. Nobody can think of changing the world. But by the way, I thought that this tool of the eyes and the way like to enlighten lives that were, not in the center of our society, it was my real desire. So, and I thought that art is an excellent tool to pull out things that, normally cannot see. So through this vehicle, you have like strong emotions. So art is able to give you strong emotions.
Yes.
Opening your eyes on reality that you don't know.
When you worked for your family's company, like how long did you work there for until you felt like you had to go forge your own path? Like,
I worked for 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it's been recent then that you've started the creative?
No, because I started, I'm 52 years old. Okay. So, yeah. So I started very young working. And by the way, there were like the last years that the two things were overlapping. So I started being an artist while I was still in the company. So, and I discovered myself, and slowly, I understood that, in the company, there were a lot of other people that could do my job that was like a regular job. And instead, creativity, I think that is something that you have it or you don't have it. You cannot learn creativity. So it's something that it was exploding so strongly in my life that I couldn't, put this voice
you couldn't put in the box any longer.
No, I couldn't. It was too strong for me.
Was your family supportive of that, or did you have people around you that were supportive of you going for your creativity, or were people a little more?
They didn't understand. They didn't understand because they said they couldn't understand what I was doing with the eyes. I was one of the first, because when I started shooting my eyes, there were anyone who was doing that. So it's like they were doing, what are you doing with these eyes? And I was going around blowing huge images of the eyes, and I was doing all this stuff. Then day by day, when they started seeing what I was doing, so they got in touch with my work, because obviously it was difficult to understand, because all my ideas at the beginning are always so weird. It's like arrived with some creative storms in my mind, and I would like the others to share my thoughts, but for them it's quite impossible. So when I was like telling my vision about this dark gallery with these eyes that were going and lighting and, like talking about themselves from a side of another to this gallery, everybody said, what?
And are they still a little, hesitant about what you're...
No, now not anymore. Now not. They're supportive. So they follow all my challenges, and they're always there to stand for me. And they're very interested in all the articles that come out, and they're happy.
That's good. It's always good. Eventually, most families come around.
Yeah.
First, what other projects? What's in the future? So this one is, you're waiting for the festivals and distribution and stuff. Are you working on another project, or?
I think that about I would like to scout the TV audience, that is a larger audience, always to bring out stories that are uplifting for the spirit. So it's like more and more, it's always this desire to bring on the scene more stories, because I have a lot of other people that I have been meeting, and new ones. I would love to do it more and more and more. So the idea, yes, would be to go also to do some project in US. Why not in other countries, to do things new? I had a great experience one time. I went in Peru to build a home.
Peruvian food. Sorry.
Yeah, I went there in Peru and I built home with my son. We were there. I thought that was such a great experience to tell, to show. So who knows, maybe one day something will be done from the other side of the world. Okay. Always to enlighten stories that anybody knows about. Nobody knows about.
Well, thank you for joining us today, and I can't wait for everyone else to watch the film. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was such a great pleasure, and congratulations for your beauty. Really, you're a wonderful lady, super beautiful.
Oh, why? Thank you. So are you. And I just want to also say to everyone that's in Florida watching, or on the East Coast, I hope you're staying safe during the hurricane. Yeah. And yes, please join us again for our next show. Thank you. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting me. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Okay. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to the Shout Out with Sage show. Shout Out with Sage.
Shout me out.
And that's all I gotta say. So shout out and let's go.